Welcome back here on the Good Morning Artesia radio show, and we have a very special guest joining us from the Granbury, Texas area. Let's say good morning to Charles and Baldwin. Good morning, Charles.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for taking time to chat with us today. It says here you are 102 years old. Is that true?
Well, yeah, that's right. It's unfortunately it's that many.
Well, that is
unfortunately, maybe fortunately, I don't know.
There you go. Well, that is awesome. For those that don't know, you actually went to Artesia High School. Did you grow up in Artesia?
Well, I moved to Artesia when I was. My dad opened up a store there when I was about 12 years old, and so I started to school there as a freshman in high school, and then I graduated there and raised my family there, and just grew up. I really consider Artesia my hometown. That's where I really grew up. I was married there, and my kids were born there, and went to school and on and on and on.
Yeah.
And I really loved Artesia. Had lots of good friends there.
Yeah. So when you went to high school, were you involved in any athletics or extracurricular activities at Artesia High?
Well, I was. I couldn't qualify very well for any of those athletic sports. I was just not athletic inclined, but I was very, very concerned and interested in sports programs there. Matter of fact, as a senior, I was what they called them water boys then, or managers, whatever you want to call them. I was privileged to do that, and so I could travel with the team different places and had got experience of a lot of that travel.
So you got to be a manager, be on the sidelines with the football players, and
yeah, with the water.
Yeah. Do you remember any of the players or the coaches that were there at the time you were there?
Well, yes, I guess I do. Well, let's see, the coach. My senior year, I believe, was Don Maudsley, as I recall. And I had a lot of good friends who were on the team. W.R. Phillips, for one, and James Stewart. There was quite a few of the guys there that I still do remember.
That's awesome. Now, after high school, did you go to college or did you go straight into the military?
No, I was attending school at the University of New Mexico when Pearl Harbor happened, and so I had already signed up in a program of civilian pilot training. They call it. It's a government program, kind of getting a little early teaching for people to fly, and the result, if you attended that program, well, you had a private pilot's license by the time it was over. And I was not technically sworn in at that time, but I had signed an agreement that I would join up if needed, and so needlessly they did eventually want me to sign up, sure, which is what I wanted to do.
So you were a pilot then, and at that time there wasn't an Air Force. It was the Army Air Corps, wasn't it?
Army Air Corps, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
So where did they send you for your pilot training?
Well, a whole bunch of places actually. We reported first of all into Santa Fe to be sworn in, and then from there to San Antonio was what was known then as the San Antonio Aviation Cadet Center. And there we were given physicals and other training in preparation for the later training. And after we left that center there, we went So our first flying was in Berlin, Texas, the primary flying, and then from there we went to Garden City, Kansas for basic training, they called it, and then to LO Field, and on down to different places. We were there at LO Field, and then we were also out on Matagorda Island and several places. Finally, we out to Wilmington, North Carolina, for training in P-47s. Kind of an interesting sidelight there. When we finished our basic flight training, they asked us if we wanted to fly bombers or did we want to fly fighters. And, of course, there's a lot of these folks listening right now remember that how many of our wonderful men were already in the Philippines when the war started. And I had some very good friends there. And my desire was to fly bombers and drop bombs on the Japanese. So in their wisdom, the Air Corps gave me fighters and sent me to Europe. Got exactly the opposite of what I was wanting.
So what type of planes did you fly? You mentioned the P-47. Were you in there?
Oh, golly, we started out in what's called the Fairchild PT-19, it was called, about, I think, 175 horsepower. Then there we moved up to what's called basic training, which is in a OT, closed cockpit, with 450 horsepower. And then they sent us to advanced training, advanced fire training, which is in AT-6, 650 horsepower. From there, we finally were checked out in P-47s, which is a fighter which we flew in Europe.
P-47, and then, of course, Thunderbolt, and then there was the Mustang P-51s came after that. Did you ever get to fly one of those?
No, I never did. I kind of wanted to, just to see what it was like, but I never did have the opportunity.
Yeah.
Did fly a little bit in a P-40, old P-40, but not very much that time in that.
Yeah. What type of missions did you fly in Europe?
Well, really all of our missions were air-to-ground missions, dive bombing, strafing of targets. Very few escort missions. That was up to the P-51s that did the escort missions.
Right.
We were as close to the front line as possible, so we could spend more time over the target and still get back to our base, without running out of fuel.
Right. Those planes used a lot of fuel, didn't they?
Yes, it did. It gulped it up pretty good. It ate a lot of oil too. So
you finish your service in the Army Air Corps after World War II. When did you come back to Artesia?
Oh golly, I guess we got back. Well, of course, after the war was over, we remained we were in Germany, our base in Germany, and we remained there training to go to the Pacific for a considerable length of time until the war in the Pacific was over.
Right.
And then they started sending us home. I got back to Fort Bliss in El Paso for discharge in November of 45.
So you never did get to drop bombs on the Japanese?
Never did. sure didn't. That's what I wanted to do, but they couldn't have done a better favor to me because those guys in the Bombers really had it tough. It was really rough for them.
That's right. That's right. So you get back home. Did you go back to work for the family store? Is that what you wound up doing?
Yeah, that's what I did. I went to work in the store with Dad. I bought my granddad's partnership share and worked in the store there until about 1965, somewhere around there, and things got pretty tough around Artesia at that time, and so we decided that we would close the store there, much to our regret, because we had lots of friends there.
Mm-hmm.
So I moved back to La Mesa, where the family store there, and I took over the managership of that.
Okay. I have a note here that says you also helped out as public address announcer at home football games. Is that true?
Yeah. Tommy Brown and I used to do the loudspeaker announcing the games. And between the two of us, we had lots of fun and lots of mix-ups and mess-ups. Yeah, but that was a lot of fun, and we did that for several years there.
Now, is that the same Tom Brown that did the radio announcing for a while?
Yeah, I guess so. Tom Brown, I knew, and Artesia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I met him, and he even filled in for us one time when Jim Wilburn went to Singapore for his son's wedding, and we had Tom Brown Jr. come and do the radio one game. That was a lot of fun to do.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And still be some folks around Artesia remember some of the mix-ups that we had. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So
I remember when.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that we were in the booth, the two of us there at Morris Field, in that old booth over there on the east side of the field, old wooden structure. And anyhow, I remember we were there doing the announcing when Artesia won their first state championship football game. And I still remember that very well because old Tommy just about beat me to death on it. He'd hit me on the shoulder every time somebody made a good play. And incidentally, we here in this area at kind of a suburb, you might say, of Granbury, a place called Pecan Plantation, and John Cranford, who was the quarterback on that championship team, is living there. I've talked to John every now and then, and he can still get his letter jacket.
He can still get in his, huh?
Yeah, he can still get in it. Boy,
Now, I saw a clip recently from a local television broadcast. Did you have an opportunity recently to get back up in the air and fly again?
Well, yes, I did. I guess 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were just delightfully surprised when they told us that they were going to give me a ride in the old AT-6, which I flew in, that type of plane that I flew in advanced training.
Uh-huh.
And I did have a wonderful flight in that. It was just lots of fun. It's kind of brought back a lot of old memories, and it was a big thrill, I'll assure you.
Now, were you just a passenger, or did you get to actually fly the plane?
No, I got to fly some.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, I didn't handle the takeoffs and landings because it's been a little while since I was in practice. But other than that, I got to do some flying once we were in the air, and it was a big big thrill, a lot of fun.
Did you
People
do
were
any?
awful nice to do that.
Well, I bet they were. Did you do any barrel rolls or any fancy flying, or did you just kind of?
Yeah,
You did.
Yeah, did that.
But well, good. Well, is there anything else you'd like to say to the folks here in Artesia while we have you on the air with us today?
Well, I guess really, I'm a little hoarse. Excuse me, a little hoarse this morning. I just like to say hello to all the folks that are there that may still remember me. I still remember a lot of dear friends there. It was a wonderful time in my life to live up and live and grow in Artesia, and still have a wonderful place in my heart for that beautiful town and those people. It's a great place to live.
Charles, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate the stories, and hope you have 102 more years coming at you there.
Well, that may be stretching a little bit. I saw the other day where there's a lady 114 years old, so I've got a ways to go yet for that.
Oh, that's great.
I appreciate your call.
Thank you, Charles, and thanks for your time, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you again soon.
Well, we hope so. Thank you so much.
All right.
All right, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Charles N. Baldwin, 102 years old, and sounded great. He got to fly in an AT-6 here a couple of weeks ago. I wonder if he did do a barrel roll. Probably. I bet the pilot that was with him would be a little antsy about that. All right. That's